Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, you can see that today we are not expecting any significant impacts, but that changes as we move into Wednesday, as a cold front will begin to approach the area and bring some strong winds to the northern part of the Great Basin. We're most concerned about the highlighted area in orange across southern Idaho, northern Utah, and Nevada, where we will see strong winds and low relative humidities. As we move into Thursday, we'll see much cooler temperatures behind that cold front across the northern part of the Great Basin, with gusty winds and low relative humidities further south. We will see much cooler temperatures across the entire region by the end of the week. Over the past 24 hours, we saw some showers and thunderstorms that brought precipitation to much of the area, with the greatest accumulations across the northern part of the Great Basin. No lightning was reported on the map. As far as fire activity, there are a few new fires across the Great Basin, as well as some ongoing prescribed fires. Over the past 7 days, we have seen a fair amount of precipitation across the Great Basin. It's much more spotty in nature because it's coming as thunderstorms. And so you can see that overall, some areas of the Great Basin are below normal, and those that have seen thunderstorm activity have been above normal as far as precipitation. ERCs are still generally below the 50th percentile, though they are beginning to scoot upwards into that 50 to 69th percentile category across the northwestern part of the Great Basin. Continuing to look at ERCs, we now have two areas that are above normal as far as ERCs. Those are GB1 and 2 in central Idaho. Looking at live fuel moisture, sagebrush moisture is still at or above normal across the majority of the area. Continuing to look at our fuels, our 10-hour fuels, which is in the map on the left, are the driest across the area. Those are the finest fuels. And you can see that the driest fuels are in northwestern Nevada and southern Nevada. Looking at our soil moisture anomalies, soil moistures are lowest across the northern part of the Great Basin, where conditions have been drier over the past few days. And this is indeed where we are seeing the greatest fire activity. A satellite this morning shows a weather system over the Pacific, northern Pacific Ocean, and that will move into the area, bringing us much cooler weather later this week. For today, again, you can see the general weather pattern on the left. Some drier air in place across the Great Basin. There's a little bit of moisture across the southeastern part of the area, and that will result in some showers and thunderstorms across the far southeastern part of the Great Basin this afternoon, but generally dry today. If you look at our significant fire potential map on the right, you can see some of those areas in the Great Basin transitioning to the yellow category across the north, where we have seen the drier conditions, and across the south as well. Looking at today in some more detail, you can see that we are expecting some gusty winds across southern Idaho. Wind speeds will generally be in that 15 to 25 mile-an-hour range, with relative humidities in the 10 to 15% range across the western and southwestern parts of the area. As we move into Wednesday, we start to see that weather system make its way towards the Great Basin. Winds will begin to pick up on Wednesday ahead of that cold front. Looking at those wind speeds in more detail, you can see those really strong winds expected across southern Idaho. Those wind speeds are expected to get up into the 40, 45, even 50 mile-an-hour range in some areas. And these will be accompanied by really low relative humidity, as you can see on that map on the right. So Wednesday is definitely a day of concern across the northern Great Basin, particularly central and southern Idaho, where we will see those dry relative humidities and gusty winds on Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, that cold front continues to make its way through the Great Basin. The northern part of the Great Basin has transitioned from yellow back down to green because this cold front will bring higher relative humidities and much cooler than normal temperatures. So looking on Thursday, you can see we are still looking at gusty winds across the area. Further south, in association with that cold front, and low relative humidities. So over the next 3 days, nothing too significant in the way of precipitation, maybe a quarter inch here and there, with the storms that are expected across eastern, southeastern Utah and portions of the Arizona Strip this afternoon. As we move into Friday, that low pressure system still is influencing the area, bringing much cooler than normal temperatures to the area. And you can see that all but the southern part of the Great Basin is in that yellow category. Moving into Saturday, that storm system will begin to make its way out of the Great Basin, with some drier air moving into the southwestern part of the Great Basin. So in the 4 to 5 day period, really not too much in the way of precipitation accumulation across the area. So move on into Sunday, you can see that another pressure system is expected to impact the Great Basin, bringing more cold and unsettled weather. And looking at Monday, you can see continued wet conditions across the Great Basin, and we will continue to see those cooler than normal temperatures on Monday. In the 6 to 7 day period, things are looking pretty dry across the Great Basin. And looking at the 7 day precipitation total, really the majority of the precipitation will come to southeastern Utah today with those showers and thunderstorms. In the 8 to 14 day period, that takes us into the very beginning of July. The Climate Prediction Center is calling for below normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin and below normal precipitation across the northern part of the area. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.